This one is living rent-free in Howie Roseman's head, my friend. Picture an edge rusher who led the entire NFL in sacks, a guy who put up 17.5 in the 2024 season alone, and now that same player could be suiting up in midnight green in 2026. Yeah, you heard that right. And if that happens, the Philadelphia Eagles become, in my opinion, the #1 Super Bowl contender in the entire league. Stick with me, because I'm going to break down who this defensive monster is, why he makes so much sense for Philadelphia's defense, and what makes this possibility so exciting for the Eagles fan base. But first, if you're a die-hard Eagles fan, hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel, because this offseason is heating up fast, and you cannot afford to miss a single breakdown. This move could define who's fighting for a championship in 2026. With the 2026 offseason starting to take shape, the Philadelphia Eagles front office needs to address one of the most urgent questions on the roster: the pass rush. Philly's defense was one of the best in football in the second half of the 2025 season, especially after Jaelan Phillips arrived via trade from the Miami Dolphins and made the whole unit click. But now Phillips is a free agent, and uncertainty is knocking on the door of the NovaCare complex. That's the backdrop against which Trey Hendrickson's name has entered the conversation, and it's entered in a big way. USA Today columnist Nate Davis listed the Eagles among the 3 best possible landing spots for the 31-year-old defensive end, alongside the Patriots and the Colts. And when you look at Hendrickson's profile, it's hard to argue with that. Trey Hendrickson is one of the most dominant pass rushers in the NFL right now. Over the 2023 and 2024 seasons, he combined for 35 sacks, an absolutely ridiculous number. In 2024 alone, he led the entire league with 17.5 sacks. Just to put that in perspective, that kind of production puts a player in the conversation for elite defensive player, period. In 2025, unfortunately, injuries limited Hendrickson to just 7 games, but even then, he still recorded 4 sacks in that shortened stretch. That's production while being nowhere near 100%. And look, those numbers carry even more weight when you consider the context. Hendrickson built his way to this level of dominance without being the first name opposing offenses game planned around for most of his career. He earned his reputation game by game, season by season, until 2024 when he just completely broke out. 4 Pro Bowl selections later, we're talking about a player who went from promising to legacy building. And the scariest part? Some analysts believe that when he's healthy and motivated, he still hasn't hit his ceiling. Now the question everybody in Cincinnati is asking is, what is the Bengals going to do with him? Reports indicate the team could pursue a tag and trade strategy, apply the franchise tag and then negotiate a deal, or simply let Hendrickson walk as a free agent. A split, according to outside analysis, seems like the most likely outcome for both sides after a tense offseason last year. Has the relationship in Cincinnati reached the point of no return? All signs suggest the market for his services is going to be extremely competitive, and that's exactly where things get really exciting for the Eagles fan base. Philadelphia saw firsthand, early in the 2025 season, what happens when the pass rush isn't working. The issues off the edge were real, concerning, and nearly cost the team dearly. When Phillips arrived and the unit came together, the difference was visible. The Eagles started dominating drives, forcing turnovers, and controlling games defensively. But now, with Phillips hitting free agency, that hole could open right back up. Adding Trey Hendrickson wouldn't just solve that problem. It would elevate the Eagles to a completely different level. Think about it. You'd have an edge rusher who, when healthy, is literally the best in the world at what he does. A player who forces opposing quarterbacks into faster decisions, who generates pressure even in coverage, who frees up the rest of the defensive line to produce. The impact goes way beyond the sacks he racks up personally. The Eagles' interior defensive line is already loaded with talent. Jalen Carter, when he's locked in, is one of the best tackles in football. Moro Ojomo has been turning heads as a 7th-round gem. Jordan Davis is an imposing presence right in the middle. With all that interior force generating pressure, imagine what a healthy Hendrickson would do coming off the edge, taking advantage of the one-on-one matchups that interior disruption creates. That's the kind of thought that keeps Howie Roseman up at night. Equal parts excitement and salary cap anxiety. And the impact goes beyond the defensive line itself. When you have a pass rusher of this caliber, the entire Eagles secondary benefits. Cornerbacks have to cover for less time. Safeties get more freedom to play downhill. The defensive coordinator can build creative blitz packages, knowing he has a weapon on the edge capable of winning one-on-one. In other words, Hendrickson wouldn't just be an elite piece. He'd be the multiplier that makes every single player in Philadelphia's defense more efficient and more dangerous. Now let's talk cap, because that's the part of the equation that demands real attention. Whether Hendrickson hits the open market as a free agent or comes via trade, he's going to cost a lot. A lot. Elite edge rushers don't come at a discount, and with 4 Pro Bowl nods on his resume and that 2024 production, the market is going to demand a massive price tag. The Eagles will face tough decisions on other contracts, including players within their own defensive line, just to get into that bidding war. Can Howie find the cap space to make this happen? That's the question that's going to follow this fan base throughout the entire offseason. The report doesn't break down the specific cap numbers involved in a potential deal, so it's important to wait for more information before committing to anything. What we can say based on what's been reported is that the interest is real, that the Eagles are considered one of the best fits for this player, and that the need for an elite edge rusher is undeniable. The perfect scenario for Philadelphia is clear. Hendrickson healthy, motivated by a fresh start away from Cincinnati, on a contract the Eagles can fit without gutting the rest of the roster. If all of that lines up, Nate Davis is right. The Eagles would immediately become the #1 title contender in the entire NFL. And make no mistake, the competition for his services is going to be fierce. The Patriots and Colts were both named as top destinations, and those teams have real selling points. New England has significant cap space and a new era building. Indianapolis has a young quarterback who needs protection and a competitive environment that could appeal to Hendrickson. If the Eagles want this guy, they're going to need to move early, move decisively, and present a convincing vision. Howie Roseman knows that better than anyone. Think about the full picture. You'd have one of the best defenses in the league as your foundation, a quarterback in Jalen Hurts who's proven he can lead when it matters most, an offensive system with enough weapons to put points on the board, and now an edge capable of wrecking any opponent in the league. That is the profile of a Super Bowl team. But let's keep it real too. Hendrickson dealt with serious injury issues in 2025. A 31-year-old who missed 9 games last season due to injury represents genuine risk. The Eagles would need to think carefully, not just about the financial structure of any contract, but about protection in case those physical issues continue. It's a high-risk, high-reward gamble, exactly the kind of move Howie Roseman loves to make when he believes the window is wide open. So here's what I want to know. Should the Eagles go all in on Trey Hendrickson, risks and all? Or would it be smarter to bring back Jaelan Phillips and bet on continuity? Drop your answer in the comments, because this debate is going to define Philadelphia's entire offseason. If this breakdown helped you understand what's happening with the Eagles, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss a single update this offseason. The season starts now, and it starts right here.